Today, today we're talking about the budget. All right, what is important about the budget? First of all, a budget is just a plan. It just happens to be a plan about your financial future. So the budget is just a plan. And no matter if you're college age or 65 and older, everyone should have a budget. So I remember being a young girl and babysitting for everyone in the neighborhood. I loved to babysit. And I loved to have my little extra money. So when my mother said I couldn't have anything that I might have wanted, I could just go and pull out my little babysitting money. But if you're planning to make a budget, the first thing you need to do is have several conversations. Talk to people that already have done budgets, people that are older and wiser than you. And when I say older and wiser, I don't mean age older. I mean older and wiser in the task that you're trying to do. So you're trying to do a budget. It is that written plan of how you're going to manage your money. All right. How are you going to manage the money that you have? And one thing you do is you have to start out by looking at how are you going to pay for something. All right. In that budget, you will say how it will be paid for. So for perhaps you have some credit cards. And if you have credit cards, how are you going to pay those back? Are you going to pay the minimum? That means the bare minimum that you can pay to satisfy that monthly obligation. Or are you going to pay maybe $20 more than the minimum because you want to get it down really, really quickly? Or you're not going to pay. And what are the penalties for not paying? So these are the different things that we'll talk about with the budget. But the first thing you want to do is, number one, write down all the income you have. If your parents give you income, if you have a part-time job, if you have a full-time job, if you have some type of allowance, whatever your income is, you need to put everything down. Your pension, anything that you have, all right? You might have even an inheritance and they allocate so much money for you. So make sure you write that down. The second thing you do is write down everything you owe. That means if you have an apartment, you have rent, you have lights, water, gas, you might have alarm, all these different things, water and sewage, trash, you never know, whatever you have. So all those bills, cable, we have cable. We have internet, all these different things. And some of us have like gaming subscriptions and things that we buy. Some of us have any type of subscription. Put that down there. So you add up what's coming in and what's going out. And you should see that you should have some money left over. And if you have a fat zero or a negative, then we need to start looking at that budget and making some plans on how we can start getting rid of some things. Now, once you write that budget down, you need to step back and just look at it. This is your time to communicate with yourself and do some positive self-talk. Do I need this much cable? Do I really need to live in this expensive apartment? Maybe I need a roommate. Do I need all this stuff in here? Maybe I can sell a couple of these mountain bikes. I've been having these bikes and only been using one for the last 3 years. Maybe I could sell some things. So start thinking in your mind, do I have to go to Starbucks every day to get my latte? Do I have to meet my friends out every weekend for us to go drinking? Do I really need these cigarettes? And do I need to drink this much alcohol all the time? Do I have to have a drink with every meal? These are the things that you ponder of how you're going to work with this budget. That is your personal decision. However, your goals for the future will dictate what you really want to get rid of. So say you want to go on a mission trip with your friends or just a fun trip. Whatever you want to do, that money has to be gotten from somewhere. And if you barely are making it, what are you going to do to make that happen? For me, I got a part-time job. One time I worked overtime. And a couple of times I sold a lot of stuff out of my house. $6,000 worth over 3 months. We do what we have to do to make the dreams our reality. So after you write all that stuff down and you look and you have your quiet time, make that decision to say, I can easily just turn this off, don't do this anymore, get rid of this. And then sometimes you call your creditors and say, look, you know, I'm really having some financial difficulties. Can you work with me? One time I called Comcast for my internet service and I got $20 a month off for 1 year. That's $240. So I made a decision to say I was a loyal customer for the last 15 years and I pay on time. I'm going through something right now, whether you are or you're not, you're going through something. And then be quiet, humble, and allow them to tell you what they can do for you. And for me, they were able to do 240 for 1 year. Well, in 2020, January 2020 to April of 2021, I paid off 124K in debt over 16 months. So that was 30,000 in mortgage debt towards my mortgage, and then it was 94 in consumer debt. Well, I had amassed about 3 new bills from 2016 to 2019. Yeah, I did. So, I had to work that out. But part-time job, decluttering, overtime, taking every penny of my money. And I was on an allowance, $25 a week for 16 months. You think, oh, that's so hard. But I allocated and I budgeted how much money I would actually put to eat. All my expenses was already budgeted. So that $25 was my one thing that I could control. Everything else was on the spreadsheet. My budget was written out in detail. Every penny of my money had a place. I was so detailed that I put what the bill was, when it was due, how much outstanding, what was my minimum payment, was it an automatic draft? I was very detailed because I wanted to know what every penny. The one mistake I made, I didn't put when did the debt start. If I had done that, I probably wouldn't have had those 2 extra new debts over that 3-year period. So that is important, very, very, very important that you put down when did that debt start. Because after a while you look around and you say, I've been paying this $500 credit card forever and ever and ever. Because you're paying the minimum and you'll never pay it off. We're going to talk about interest and all that other stuff later and what it does. But these are some things, and laugh at yourself because you're going to hang out today. You're going to leave now and go with your friends, your family, hang out and do something else crazy with your money until you get sick and tired of being sick and tired and making up a plan, that budget, that plan. Okay, now we see everything on paper. We've had our little positive self-talk or our cry moment, pouting moments, but you did it. But today you're going to make a decision to say, what am I going to put aside for my financial future? Many of you are in college and you're planning to live this great life. Well, these principles are good for you now so you won't make these kind of mistakes later. Right now, some of your parents are paying your insurance and your car insurance, your medical insurance, your dental insurance. They're buying your glasses every year. But when you leave your institution of education, of higher learning, they give you that piece of paper. You have to have your job and you have to decide how much money that you want to put away for your pension, your future, maybe a 401k. You need to know these things. And these are the things that'll be on your budget. After a while, things become so not interesting. You'll say, I really don't need that much money to go out to eat because I really want to go on that trip with my friends to the Caribbean, or I really want to go on that mission trip. And then you start planning. What I do for planning my trips, I figure out early what I want to do for the next year, and I pick about 3 or 4 trips and I decide how much it's going to be, and I put myself on a payment plan. I either pay the place where I'm going or I put the money aside. Then 2 months before it's time for me to go, I go ahead and get my plane ticket because now I know I'm really invested, right? and I get my plane ticket, and then that last month I save whatever my spending is going to be. But usually I'm in all inclusive, so I don't take a whole bunch of money. I take tip money. Don't be cheap. Tip, tip, tip. These people are slaving for us, and I don't mean that in the literal word of slaving, but we work them like that. We're just asking for things and we don't pay them anything. And that is what they do. They need the tips to really be able to live. So make sure you tip, tip, tip. The other thing is, after I do all of this, I feel so good because when I get on the plane, I know that there's nothing coming up. Now I take a little extra because things happen, you out of the country perhaps, but you feel good that you planned. People should plan for when you have kids or you want to buy your family member presents. You can open you a little savings account and put that money aside. Just like you do for your trips. You put money to the side, but you need to put it in a place where you can't readily get it. So you don't want to put it in that account where you're putting money that you're using day to day. You want to put it somewhere that it takes a minute for you to get it. Like you have to think about, is this really important? So these are the things that you ponder while you're doing this budget. And at the end of the day, you did the budget, you wrote everything down, you forgot some things, you went back, you added some things, and then you made that decision to take some things away. And now you're not negative. Now you might be positive. It might just be a little bit positive. You might have an extra $100 a month. That's better than nothing. Always make sure you put your money over there in savings. And we're going to talk about an emergency fund. That's at least $1,000. But if you don't have $1,000, let's just start saying, I'm going to get $100. And then after you get $100, say, I'm going to get $200. And then you say, I'm going to get $400, $500, until you get to that $1,000. That is your cushion. So things come up, things happen. No matter how special you think you are, the tires are going to be flat. You're going to forget to pay something, and then you're going to have some extra fees. Things happen. But now that you're smart and wise, you have this budget, which is your visual system to tell you what you have and what you don't have. And if you put yourself on an allowance, like I did, that $25 a week allowance, that gives you some freedom to be able to spend and have some control. Other than that, you will be pretty miserable if you're not having the money you want. And it's nothing wrong with getting a part-time job for a little while. It's nothing wrong with, selling a few things out of your home that you don't need or that you have not used, especially clothing. Oh my goodness. You're never going to get in that size 2 again. Give it up, give it up, give it up. And let someone else enjoy that. As the lady over in Japan, she says, does it spark joy? Talk to it, thank it for its service, and let it go. You think this is silly? I did that when I got rid of all that stuff out of my house. I just had to talk to it, thanked it for its service, touched it a little bit, smelled it a little bit, and let it go. Let it go, let it go, let it go. These are the things you have to do if you want to be able to live that full, rich life. So you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're a nurse, and you don't have any extra money to even have something as easy as $1,000. What are we doing? We have to do better. Don't forget, you might make $1,000, but the Uncle Sam, remember, Uncle Sam will take his 25%. All right. And when you get in a certain tax bracket, they take 50%, and it's hard. It's hard. You say, what happened? Always remember, you have to pay the piper. Pay now or pay later. You don't want Uncle Sam to come after you. So I just wanted to have a little bit of fun with you and talk to you about a budget. We're going to do a budget. We're really going to do a budget together. And it's going to be fun and exciting. And although you don't really have 2 cents to work together today, you're going to write out this fake budget because it's going to be the life that you want with the salary that you want. So hang in there and remember, a budget is just your written plan. You put down what you have coming in and what you have going out and see if it works together. If not, start thinking about how you can downsize, get rid of some things to make it happen, and have a savings account because we want to save at least 20% of our income before taxes. Woo, that is a lot. I know, but you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. All right, have a great day. And remember, the budget is your friend. It is your friend. It is your ally. Have a great day.